Hello vinyl community, Midge here, a guy in a hat who loves to talk about records, and on today's video I'm going to be talking about new releases, specifically new releases I've been listening to in July. But before we get going, I just want to state that some people might not be happy with the title of this video because some of the albums I'm going to show you I've been sat on for quite a while. Not literally, of course, because that tends to warp the vinyl, but some of these albums have been around for a while and I've only just got around to listening to them, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But having said that, if you feel like you're not happy with the title of this video or you feel you're being misled, that's perfectly fine. I totally understand that. And of course, as you know, in the vinyl community, we have our own ombudsman that you can get in touch with if you're not happy about any of the content in our videos. So it would only be fair of me to say that if you're not happy and you feel you're being misled, you can write to the vinyl ombudsman, and this is the address to write to. So that aside, anybody else who's quite happy for me to carry on, I will carry on. And the first album I'm going to talk about, in fact, let's just clear this up. These are all new releases from 2025. They didn't specifically come out in July, but I've been listening to them in July. So let's get that one thing straight. Obviously, if you're not happy, you've had the address. Anyway, the first album I'm going to talk about is a new album from Wet Leg, which is called Moisturiser. This is the second album from the band. Absolutely loved the first album, as a lot of people did. I can't really listen to it now because I overplayed it, played it to death, and obviously this is highly anticipated. Wasn't sure what to expect myself. I was thinking that they might fall into the trap of just remaking the first album, but I'm pleased to report they haven't done that at all. And obviously things have changed within the band because aside from it just being Hester and Rianne, the touring musicians and the friends of theirs that they've been going around the world with are now fully fledged members of the band. So Wet Leg are now a 5-piece. So there's quite a different sound to this album. All the members of the band have contributed to the songwriting, so it has been a very democratic affair. And I think it shows there's a lot of more ideas and textures and sounds in this album than the first one. Obviously, you had the singles. I try not to overdose on the singles, which I think was the problem I had last time. So you've got the single CPR, which is a great bouncy, bass-heavy, guitar riffed indie anthem. Very catchy. You've got Catch These Fists, again, a sort of describes a night out that it's probably a common problem that women have, that women just want to go out, have a good time with their friends, and then you get unwanted attention from men trying to crack on, and it's a bit of a warning to men who do that. That's another great anthem. You've got Davina McCall, which is one of my favourite songs on the album. It's absolutely sublime. It's sort of like a beautiful love song. It mentions Davina McCall, the Big Brother presenter, in terms of I'm like Davina McCall, I'm coming to get you. But it's just got some absolutely beautiful melody to it, and Rianne's vocals on it are superb. And I just want to say that Rianne's vocals all the way through the album, sometimes she's loud, sometimes she's screechy, sometimes she's angry, sometimes she's got a really beautiful sort of calming falsetto. Her vocals are all over the place in a really good way. She's got a really great range, I think, on this album. Also, you've got the song Mange 2, which is again another clever song. Obviously, Mange 2, if you break down the word, it's man get out, and it's another warning to men of a certain nature. You've got Pokemon, which is again another great song. It's sort of like it holds back on the guitars, and it's got a very beautiful sort of synthesizer line that runs through it. Really catchy, really full of melody, and that's another great song. Hopefully that's going to be another single because I think it's really strong. There's a couple of songs on here which are sort of, they've got a real sort of shoegaze quality to them. They've got really sort of like echoes of My Bloody Valentine. You've got Don't Speak, Jennifer's Body, and You and Me at Home. They've all got like you'll know it when you hear it. They've got like that sort of like pedal effect power in the chorus that My Bloody Valentine songs have. So that's a great influence. So on the whole, I think this is an absolutely fantastic album. It's Rihanna's disconcerting Aphex Twin styles smile on the cover's a bit unnerving, but and the fingernails obviously. But this is an absolutely cracking album. The more you listen to it, the more it grows on you. Nearly every song could be a single. It's a real step up from the first album, I think, and it's absolutely brilliant album. Really enjoying this. I can't recommend it highly enough. Obviously, you've got a lyric sheet inside. You've got the moist Uriza in a sleeve, and this is the Blood Records pressing. Yeah, don't switch off. On the moisturizer filled vinyl. Obviously, I've done a video on this, and I'm not going to go into this again because you'll be here all day, and I'll be here all day. And but I mean, just look at that. It's just amazing. It's just stop it right. Yeah, I'm going to put this down now before. Well, you know what will happen if you've seen the last video. But yeah, another cool gimmick, but no gimmicks are needed here. Absolutely superb album by Wet Leg. Highly recommend it. Yeah, go out and get it. Okay, next up, I'm going to talk about two releases that I've been sat on for a while. Not literally, that would warp the vinyl. But the reason for this is I've got one of those brains, as you're probably aware, that's not wired up completely, as it should be. So I have a problem. I'm very sensitive to seasons, and we're lucky in the UK because we have very distinct spring, summer, autumn, winter, and all the good things and the bad things that come from that. I've always been very sensitive to the seasons. And bizarrely, I've not met anybody else who said this, but I'll give you an example. I can't listen to reggae music in winter. It just seems such an alien concept to me. It's like going to work in mid-December wearing nothing but a pair of Speedos. It's just totally alien, and I did promise HR I wouldn't do that again. But it's like reggae. It's got such a summery vibe. It's really upbeat. It's just made to go with summer and sunshine. So I can't listen to reggae in winter. I just can't do it. And it's like Psych. I love Psych albums, but again, they remind me of sunshine and warm weather and things like that. And I can't listen to Psych albums in the winter either. It's a really bizarre thing I've got. I don't know why. I've tried to wean myself off it, but it just doesn't work. It just feels, like I said, like an alien thing. I can't do it. So I've had these next two albums for a while, for that reason, because when they came out, it was still winter, and because I know what the albums sound like, I had to wait until I felt it was the right listening experience. Yeah, I know I'm a bit weird, but just hear me out. Okay, so this album came out in January of this year, and it's the fifth album from the Rose City Band, and it's called Sol Y Sombra. I'm bound to be pronouncing that wrong. It's the name of a drink, apparently. And look at the cover of that. It's just beautiful cover art. And in a way, it says everything about the album inside. For those not familiar with the Rose City Band, it's the brainchild of Ripley Johnson, who you may know. He was in the band Wooden Ships, a neo-psychedelic band. He was also part of the electronic Moon Duo, who also made some great albums. And this is his other band, which I'm a huge fan of. And this is sort of like, it's hard to describe, but I would describe it, it's sort of like psychedelic cosmic country rock. And it's sort of like a mixture of country and psychedelia, but basically, but it's got such a sublime sound to it. It's sort of like, it's mellow, it's dreamy, the songs just drift. It sounds like when you listen to it, you can almost imagine driving down an American highway in a car at night, just listening to it, just letting it wash over you. It's honestly, he makes such beautiful music, Ripley Johnson, in this band. So it's sort of like a mixture of like it's acoustic based, but the drawing point is there's a guy called Barry Walker in the band, and he plays such sublime pedal steel guitar throughout it. You've got Ripley Johnson's vocals, which are sort of like very laid back, very dreamy, very sort of drifting, and his vocals, it sounds like he's half asleep, half awake, which adds to it as well. And this is the 5th album they've made, and I deliberately kept it back because it's the sound of summer. It really is the sound of summer. So I couldn't be listening to the Rose City Band in January at work in my Speedos. It just wouldn't work. But I'm happy to say that I've been listening to this non-stop throughout June and July. The only criticism people tend to level at the Rose City Band is the songs can sound quite the same, although to me, I would take a 10 LP box set of Rose City Band albums because they're just so sublime. The songs are beautiful, and they do tend to just drift into one, but that's not in a bad way. It's just a superb sort of listening experience, really chilled, really laid back. It's sort of like a gentle melancholy to all the songs. It's absolutely, I can't recommend it highly enough. It's just a beautiful sounding band, and like I said, this is their 5th album. They've not made a bad album in my opinion. So yeah, this is on Thrill Jockey. Like I say, really nice artwork, lovely sounding band. That's the inner sleeve. Not a lot to that. I don't think this is on coloured vinyl. No, it isn't. It's just your standard black vinyl. But yeah, if you've not heard the Rose City Band before, honestly check them out because they're such a great band, especially at this time of year. It's just made for this time of year. So that's the Rose City Band, Sol White Sombra. And the next album is in a similar sort of vein in terms of I think it came out in, let me look at my notes, was it April that it came out? Yeah, April it came out, this debut album by a band from Norwich, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this album, which is what led me to it. It's the Floral Image, they're called, and this is their debut album. It's called Gone Down Meadowland, and again, aware of it when it came out, heard a lot of good things about it, but they're a neo-psychedelic band, obviously, modern psychedelic band, and it's just beautiful psychedelia. And again, I can't listen to it until it's nice and hot and sunny, so that, beautiful artwork again. And like I said, this is a debut album from a Norwich band. Just great drifting psychedelia again. They stretch out on a couple of tracks. There's a track called Howling Dog Song, which is superb. And there's another one called Sun for Hire, which finishes the album. They stretch out a little bit more. I think they're both 6 or 7 minute long, but you never get bored. It's not, and also they're not really a jam band. They do stretch out, but it's not like there's not loads of like noodly guitar solos. It's just a lovely drift. It's just a continuation of that song's melody. Really dreamy, really sort of laid back, psych pop. There's a bit of a prog influence in there. There's some tracks with quite a motoric beat going through it. And they're all great musicians in this band. It's one of those albums where you can hear what every band member is doing. It's not like buried in the mix. And the rhythm section, especially on this band, is superb. It's just a great, it's like a woozy, shimmering sound to it, like all good psychedelia does. There's a few short instrumentals on here which break up the album a bit. That's cool as well. It's just absolutely beautiful. Just just what you want a modern psychedelic album to be. Catchy, lots of hooks, just laid back, shimmering, beautiful sights, sort of dreamy type vocals. And absolutely blown away by this album. Absolutely loving it to death. I've seen people talk about it when it was released on YouTube videos, and I thought I've got to get a copy of that, and I've not been disappointed at all. It's an absolutely superb album. This is on the label Fuzz Club. Again, beautiful album art. You've got the lyrics there. And also, I think they talk about lyrics that what do they call them now? Well, the sort of like lyrics are quite suggestive and they get you to do things. Subliminal, that's it, subliminal. And there's a line in here that just is really stuck with me, and it's all it is give up the golden chair, stand on a tangerine. And ever since I hear that line, I just want to stand on a tangerine. Seriously, I do, and I nearly did it for this video, but I felt sorry for any tangerine involved. But yeah, it's funny how some lyrics stick with you, and it's it's corrupting me. I'm going to be an enemy to tangerines. This is pressed on green vinyl, Meadowland vinyl, I think they call it. And yeah, absolutely love it. But one gripe, these sleeves, just stop it, man. Just stop, you record companies, stop using these sleeves. These are the sleeves, the inner sleeves, that are quite glossy. But I've noticed with these that they always split. Can you see that? They always split because modern vinyl tends to have sharp edges. So when it's moving around in transit, it tends to split the top of the sleeves, and there's not a lot you can do about it. I'm not putting sellotape on the top of the sleeve. What I tend to do, a little tip for you here, is it's fiddly, but I put the sellotape on the inside of the sleeve, so it doesn't split anymore. But I mean, it's just annoying. It doesn't happen with cardboard sleeves or paper sleeves. It always seems to be these really thin glossy sleeves, so just stop it, all right? Just stop it, because it annoys me. I would have sent it back, but if I'd have bought it from shop, I got this online, so I just couldn't be bothered with the hassle. But yeah, that aside, yeah, let's not detract from it. The Floral Image, Gone Down Meadowland, absolutely superb modern psych album. Highly recommend it. Check it out, superb. Next up, another new release I've been enjoying recently, a bit of a change of pace, and this is it's not really an EP. It's only got 3 tracks on it, but it's almost an album's length, and it's from the hip hop artist Andre 3000, who has now decided he's going to be a jazz artist. So this is the Moving Day album or EP, whatever you want to call it. So basically, I'm sure you've heard of Andre 3000, member of the hip hop duo Outkast, made a lot of commended albums and featured albums in the hip hop community. Just basically multi-instrumentalist, really talented rapper. And I always love when things like this happen. It doesn't happen very often, but when established artists suddenly decide that they're going to make the 360-degree turn and they're going to do something completely different, or artists that just, go off at a tangent. I mean, a bit like Van Morrison when he decided to be like a COVID denier and he went completely bonkers and he made albums about, things like that. But yeah, I love stuff like that. But this is not what Andre's done. He's not gone mental. Some people think he's gone mental, I think, but basically all of a sudden he's made a lot of cameo appearances, he's done a lot of production work since Outkast have split, but he's not made his own album, and people have been crying out for him to make an album of his own for years and years and years. And then I think he finally decided after about 14 years that he was going to make a hip-hop album again. And then when he went into the studio, he just had a complete change of pace and decided to become a jazz musician, and he decided to learn how to play the flute. Now, his flutes don't seem to be the traditional type of flutes. They tend to be huge, great big wood type instruments, woodwinds and flutes and things like that. So they've got like quite a distinctive sound to them. So anyway, he brought out an album a couple of years ago called New Blue Sun, which was like a 3 LP set of his his jazz compositions. It's extremely expensive, and it was about £100, £90 to £100 for a 3-record set, which I'm not down with that shizzle. I can't go for that. So I've been waiting for it to come down in price. I think the lowest I've seen it so far has been about £75, which I'm still not paying for a 3-album set. So, a bit disappointed really that I couldn't get it. I mean, I could have got it on CDs, but I absolutely hate CDs, so that was a no-go as well. I can't go for that either, as Hall & Oates continually say, and I'm saying it too. I can't go for that. I'm not buying CDs, not at this stage of the game. So I missed out. So when this came out, it was a lot more affordable, and it only had 3 tracks. And I thought, do I really want to pay the money for a standard album for 3 tracks? And then I thought I'll give it a go on Spotify, and I absolutely loved it. So when we say jazz, it's not specifically jazz that he's doing. It's sort of like, I hate to use the term new age because it has a certain connotation to it, but basically it's not specifically jazz music he's making. It's more sort of like new age type soundscapes. So you've got like the sounds of like bells and percussions and water bowls and things like that. So it's not your traditional jazz instrumentation, and obviously he's got his strange, huge wooden flutes going on. So they're not really like jazz compositions. They're more like sort of ethereal, sort of dreamy type soundscapes. And there's 3 tracks on here. I think they're all about 10 minutes long, so it's pretty cool. You can sort of like sit back and they wash over you. It's very relaxing sound. Melodies come in and out. There's very gentle type of percussion going on in the background, but it does sound a bit new agey. But it's quite ambient as well in a way. But I just fell in love with it. Absolutely beautiful sounds that were going on. And also another thing that initially put me off was the second track, which is Day Moving, is the first track in reverse. And I thought that was a bit of a cop out, or a bit of a con, really. And then I heard it, and it does really work. It does sound like a new composition with it being backwards. The last track on it is an unreleased track from the New Blue Sun sessions. So that's about a 10-minute track as well, but it's all in the same vein. It's sort of a very sort of drifting, ethereal, laid back, ambient type of piece, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm really enjoying this at the moment. It isn't your standard jazz album at all. It's just totally different, and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, who'd have thought it? Andre 3000 going from Hey Ya to this. It's just so cool. This is on black vinyl. It's on the Epic label. It does have quite a cool fold-out sleeve. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this on camera, but I'll do my best. It opens up into a huge fold-out sleeve. I'm still here. Yeah, so that adds to the package too. So that that's great. So I've really been enjoying that recently. So if you want something a bit different, I highly recommend checking it out. So that's Andre 3000's Moving Day. So again, yeah, really recommend that. Next up, we have the new King Gizzard album, Phantom Island. This is their 25th or 20? I'll tell you in a minute because it's on the sleeve. This is King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard's Phantom Island. Comes in this outer sleeve because obviously with King Gizzard being an ecological band, they don't use shrink wrap, so there's always a cool cardboard outer. That's a sleeve by Jason Galea, who does all the King Gizzard album artwork. Absolutely amazing sleeve, that, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, this was recorded at the same time as the Flight 2741B, and that might be wrong. I can't remember the actual album title, which came out last year. Absolutely loved that album. It was sort of like a return to sort of like traditional rock and 70s rock and southern rock. Absolutely loved that album. So this was recorded in the same sessions. So the sleeve art gives a nod to that because that's the plane from the front of that album, and all the pigs that are on it are coming down this stairway, totally unscathed, don't worry. No animals were harmed in this sleeve. But absolutely superb sleeve. 27th, this is their 27th album, as you can see there. Love this album. King Gizzard themselves are there, hiding in the houses there. But I love album sleeves like this that you can just lose yourself in and just look at the details. But again, King Gizzard albums always nod to the previous ones or ones that have gone before. But this was touted as King Gizzard's orchestral album, a bit like in the way that every year you get, I don't know, the Royal Philharmonic does Elvis, or the Royal Philharmonic does Napalm Death, that sort of thing. But initially, I'll be honest, when I heard this album, I was a bit disappointed because I thought they were going to go full on orchestral, but they haven't. What they've done is they've taken the songs from the sessions and they've used an orchestra to sort of like colour them. which after a few listens and you get the hang of it, it's really cool. I really enjoyed it. This is definitely one of those albums that grows on you. I thought there'd be no like rock instrumentation at all on it. I thought it'd just be orchestral, but the orchestra is used on every track, but it's sort of used to colour the songs rather than overwhelm them, and it does work really well once you get into it. So yeah, basically, like I say, recorded at the same time as the previous album, but it just felt like these songs needed a bit something different to them to bring them out. I suppose it's because didn't want to make the same album again, which they don't tend to do. Obviously, they go out of the way not to make the same album twice. But there's some great tracks on here. Phantom Island, the title track is great. It's sort of like it's the best use of the orchestra, and it works really well. So you've got your rock instrumentation and your orchestra, and they merge really, really well. You've also got Dead Stick, which is a really catchy number with really upbeat horn sections. Dead Stick, absolutely fantastic track. One thing that's surprising about this album is it's quite personal in a way for King Gizzard. There's quite a few tracks on it that talk about being on the road and missing family, because obviously a lot of the members now have had newborn babies and have been married and things like that. And there's a lot of songs that reference being on the road and being away from families and being homesick and not complaining, but sort of like talking about the fact that this isn't an easy life. Being a travelling musician isn't an easy life, and you miss the down-to-earth everyday things like going to diners and things like that. And there's quite a few songs on here that reference that, and it's quite soul-searching at times, which is unusual for King Gizzard. Obviously, it's wrapped up in their usual catchy, fun sort of melodic songs, but underneath it all, some of the lyrics are quite quite bleak and a bit like there's one in which Stu says he's almost talking to his son, saying, "Don't be a musician, be a doctor or a lawyer. Don't I'm sorry that I'm away so much and I miss so much." But yeah, quite unusual for the Gizzard to go down that route, and it's obviously heartfelt. But yeah, great album. It does take a while to grow, and it did to me. It did take a while to grow on me, but yeah, really enjoying this at the moment. It's very rare that King Gizzard put a foot wrong, and it's amazing, really, when you consider their output. It's all of a high standard. A bit like the last album. They do share vocals a lot, usually in the same song, which is a new thing they've started doing. So you've got Stu on some of the lead vocals, you've got Cut Craig on some of the vocals, Ambrose, Kenny Smith does a few, but it's mixed up all in the same song, so there are some links to the last album with that. But yeah, Phantom Album, you're really enjoying that at the moment. Another great album from King Gizzard. Yeah, superb. And lastly, I'm going to show you another album I've been sitting on, not deliberately. Don't sit on your vinyl. This is an artist that's new to me, although I think he's been around for a while. And this is a Texas guitarist called Hayden Pedigo. And this album is called I'll Be Waving As You Drive Away. Now, when I was looking this album up, here we go again with genres. This is the genre for this is American Primitive. I mean, what is that? I mean, I know what it's trying to say. It's basically saying it's an old-fashioned. Its roots are in the old-fashioned American finger-picking artists. But it could also be misleading and talk about. I mean, it could be apes playing guitars for all that. American Primitive. I mean, what's that? I mean, don't get me started on genres again. But there's no apes playing guitar on this album. That might put you off, but it shouldn't do. This is, like I say, Hayden Pedigo, Texan guitarist, in the finger-picking style, acoustic. And these are instrumental guitar pieces. Very similar to William Tyler, the Nashville guitarist, if you've ever heard some of his albums. And obviously people like Burt Jansch and John Renbourn, that sort of tradition, but obviously this is more American-based. And this is the third album he's made in a trilogy that he's called, is it the Motor Trilogy he's called it? They've all got covers by this artist, Jonathan Phillips. And he's called this his Motor Trilogy, I think, because they all involve cars or vehicles on the covers. and this is the first one I've got of his, and I'm really blown away by this. Absolutely beautiful. Like I say, it's all instrumental. It is quite a short album, but it's one of those where it's sort of like the melodies really creep up on you. It's really laid back, really relaxing type music. There are backing instruments. So it's not all acoustic based. It's like very sympathetic and very subtle additions to the sound. So you've got things like synthesizer, ebo guitar, violin, piano, but they're all very much in the background. It's sort of like there are the sort of like embellishments to the finger picking style of his songs. So they never get in the way of the acoustic guitar melody. They're sort of like very subtle background type embellishments on it. And yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. If you like acoustic based songs, if you like finger picking songs, just really beautiful, really laid back, really chilled, really beautiful. That's him there, Hayden Pedigo. But yeah, absolutely beautiful album. And it's like I say, it's quite a short album, but really beautiful to listen to. And it's one of those albums where the more you listen to it, the more the melodies creep up on you, and it's just a really cool, chilled, relaxing listen. This is on, I think they call it Silverado Brown, which I'm not sure what that actually is. It's a, I don't know, cowboy with the runs or something. But yeah, just it's an absolutely gorgeous album. If you find yourself in the mood for something a little bit different, like I say, any fans of William Tyler will really love this. And I think this was released in June, so it's been around for a little bit. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this at the moment. Really cool, and I think it's on. Yeah, it's on Mexican Summer. Highly recommend checking that out. Really cool. And that's it. So that's my new releases that were released in July but weren't released in July. And yeah, I hope you can take something away from this. And not complain to the Vinyl Ombudsman, if only because I can't really pronounce it properly. But yeah, I hope there's something there that you enjoy, and if you do enjoy them, let me know. I don't take any commission or anything, but also I don't offer any refunds. So if you don't like it, then you can send it me if you want, and then I'll have another copy and I'll pass it on to someone who does. But yeah. So thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you soon. Midge out.